Basketball fans, welcome into Canada's home for Talking Hoops. This is the Hangout. I am Akil Augustine, and we have three professionals, semi-professionals sometimes, ready to chop it up and talk Raptors brand basketball as well as the NBA. At the end of the bench, the producer of the Toronto Raptors broadcast, you know him and love him from on this show, Dan Gladman. We got a big timer in the house, of course, one of the faces of all sports in Canada. KB, as I'm calling her, Kate Biernes, and of course, that YouTube McFly, that dude Palmer, Marlon.
Wow, dyslexia. Okay.
Whatever. Anyways, let's jump into it, okay? Big news, of course, coming off the trade deadline and the waiver wire, but we'll start with the biggest one, which is about 7 feet tall, approaching 300 pounds, I think. I don't know. I'm not for certain, but we'll start with Marc Gasol. Kate, does he legitimize the Raptors' finals championship contention hopes?
I gotta tell you, I love the move overall. I love the fact that we didn't have to touch our top 7. It's basically a 1-for-1 trade of JV, and you look at his assets compared to what Jonas Valanciunas does, and you say, you absolutely had to make this deal. He can shoot the ball better than JV. He has that long range. His passing ability, by the way, when I was watching the other night, ridiculous, completely understated. Yeah. And then defensively, he's a whole other presence. And then it is his veteran experience. So I love the deal. When I did hear we might have been in on Mirotic, though, that one stung just a little bit.
But do you believe that this, like, wherever you thought they were finishing without him, do you think they've taken a step further?
Yeah, I'm still scared of the Bucks, though.
Yeah, so this move,
it's either one or two in the East.
I'm honestly just scared of Brook Lopez for some reason. I don't know what he's up to this year, man. Like,
shoot the three ball
he's shooting like clay right now.
But Marlon, for you, where did you have the Raptors before this trade, and where do you have them now?
Before this trade, I had them finishing top 3 for sure.
Finals or conference?
Definitely conference finals.
But no
I knew that
top.
for sure. But now I'm thinking finals for sure. It's definitely a possibility.
So you like the move?
I like the move a lot. Of course, it hurt my heart. JV is like, he's been here for so long.
Yeah.
Right? But like she said, like you look at all his intangibles, he's got better footwork, stronger. He's a great rebounder. He shoots the ball better. He passes better. It's a win-win.
I think the people that are most hurt by JV leaving are the good folks at Uber who just launched that commercial. But Dan, you've watched like 3 games now with Mr. Gasol. How has he changed things, and do you believe they're now a finals contender?
Well, I do think they are a finals contender, and as a longtime Raptors
longtime homer,
fan, employee, longtime homer. I mean, I've had to see my man Dwayne Casey leave. My man DeMar DeRozan leave.
Chris Bosh, who's slagging us off right now.
My favorite of all of them is JV. But yeah, you're right. But that stuff doesn't translate to winning a championship. So yes, I do think that this move, the Gasol move, puts them in a position to compete for the championship this year, maybe next year. The one thing that JV had going for him is he's a younger player, and he will be heard from for the next, probably 5-6 years. Who knows? But with Gasol there's a veteran presence, there's an intelligence factor that was not there, from JV as much as you see now from Marc Gasol.
All right, we talked about the trade deadline. The buyout market was the next hot topic for everybody, and everybody was talking Wes Matthews, Marlon, and thinking Rap's gonna get Wes Matthews
was so excited.
or Wayne Ellington. They end up with Jeremy Lin. Are you happy?
I'm actually not. Like, I know Jeremy Lin isn't Wes Matthews, but I'm not mad at this. I remember the first time when Jeremy Lin was going through the whole insanity business, and he came and played in Toronto, and he hit that last-second shot. And the way the crowd erupted, as soon as they made this move, I thought about that moment.
You were thinking about marketing.
I'm just thinking about how well he'll be received, and when he's received well, how well he plays.
Yeah.
Because he's had a lot of bouncing around, but he feeds off that energy. And I feel like someone like him, someone like, Ben McLemore still.
We don't know what happens next,
yet,
right?
But I feel like he's a very solid third PG there.
Dan, before we let KB have the final word, what are your thoughts on Jeremy Lin in Toronto?
I think it's a great move because it gives you a lot of things. Yeah, he does not have the 3-point shooting percent of Wes Matthews, but even as we saw there, Matthews at 37% at that high volume, I don't really know if that was as dependable as what you wanted there. Lin, especially with this injury to Fred VanVleet, out for 5 weeks. We saw it right away in his first game against Washington. He steps in. He kind of gave you Fred VanVleet numbers, 9 points, 5 assists, a couple of rebounds. He can run the offense, and especially with DeLon Wright gone, with VanVleet injured, this is a guy we know can hit a big shot in a late-game scenario. I think it's a great pickup.
All right, Kate, now, I don't know how to play this, but like people talk about like some guys don't want to go to Toronto, but I mean Jeremy Lin had options, and he chose because it always leaks out first. Guys going here.
Yep.
He chose Toronto. Does that mean anything to you?
First of all, I hate the narrative too. Guys don't want to come to Toronto.
Well, Chris Bosh is feeding it right now.
Well, whatever. Let Chris Bosh say what he
retired.
wants to
Just
say.
let him-
He is too. You can say no, but sure, there is some validity to the fact that he wanted to come here, and obviously being with the Hawks and that team being on a different path. I mean, the prospect of being in Toronto, being in the East. Being on a team with so much talent around him, he probably did really like that idea. So yeah, I like the fact that he wanted to be here. But quick fact too, I was sitting beside his mom in the Washington game. It was the cutest thing you've ever seen. She's still, I mean, he's been in the league for 8 years. She's still recording when he goes onto the court and everything like that. And I'm like, this might be the sweetest thing I've ever seen on
He
my
goes home and
sideline
watches game
days.
tape with his mom.
Over Instagram.
She was like, OG Anunoby was hitting some pretty huge shots too, and she's just right up there. And I'm like, you are the cutest thing,
bought
and
in.
you need a lot of I told DG, I'm like, this woman needs some camera time.
All right, now you touched at the beginning of the show, but I want to talk about it now. Which of the moves, because we know that 3 of the 4 top teams in the East made a move at the trade deadline. Which of the moves do you think is going to have the biggest impact as we move forward here? Tobias in Philly,
Yeah,
Mirotic in Milwaukee, Gasol and Lin in Toronto.
I'm still not sold on Tobias Harris. I'm really not. I mean,
What?
I know. Oh, my goodness.
Say word.
First of all, too, I still don't think that Philly has enough depth. I think that's
Yeah.
Philadelphia's biggest concern at this moment. The team that scares the living crap out of me is the Milwaukee Bucks.
Yeah.
I mean, we watched them here in Toronto and what they did to the Raptors. I understand that we beat them in Milwaukee as well. It's the three-point shooting. And when that team, and then you add a guy like Mirotic. Did you watch
Yeah.
Mirotic in the playoffs with the Pelicans last year
Ridiculous.
and what he did from behind the arc?
Throwing rocks in the ocean.
It was absolutely absurd. So I'm just saying that, and that's why I'm glad we have a guy like Gasol too, who can even defend out on the perimeter, move out just a little bit.
Yeah.
But you think Milwaukee won this whole trade deadline thing?
I think they do. In the East, I think they do.
I think it's Toronto.
Yeah?
I think with Gasol, I went specifically and looked at how Gasol and Brook Lopez have matched up in
Interesting.
games that they've played. Gasol's killed him.
You did some research?
I had to look
Is this
into it.
part
I
of
was
your
worried.
comedy act?
Yeah,
happening
check
here?
out the Extra Gravy Show.
Oh, okay. Shout
No,
out to
seriously, I looked at those matchups in the past, just in this past 2 seasons, and Gasol's got his number every single time. So that put me at ease a little bit, especially because I know that they're the one team, like Kate said, that I'm worried about.
All right, okay. Well, still more to come here in Canada's home for Talking Hoops. When we return, we got to talk about the mess that is the Los Angeles Lakers. I blame Greg Popovich, Dell Demps, and the other NBA GMs.
Oh, not LeBron?
What did
Interesting.
LeBron do?
Oh.
Well, we'll get into that on the other side of the break.
frame it.
More basketball to come on